This week on the Push Pull Legs podcast, I have some protein bars, of course I do. And there's two influencers who say, put me to learn something. Three, two, one. I've got no joke today, Dan.
Hey guys, welcome to the Push Pull Legs podcast with myself, Damik.
And me, Tomo. It's going to be.
I'm ecstatic that you don't have a joke, to be fair, mate. I'm happier that you don't have one than I would be if you did have one. So
it's because I'm not in the best mood. That's probably why. A little bit somber. Dan knows I've not had a fantastic time the last week, but the show goes on.
It's because you've not been using booty bands on your glute exercise.
That's true. Yeah,
that's why.
Fortunately, I mean, the booty bands, they have been left elsewhere. So I've not had access to them for the last week, unfortunately. So yeah, who knew that's what I need. It's just
well,
crazy.
Darren Cartel thinks that's what you need, mate. So that's all that matters.
It's just
he knows.
Darren.
Honest to God, let's just get stuck straight in, mate. Let's not even do the whole what's going on? Let's just go fucking straight for it. No, actually, what we will say is before we start this, me and Tom are looking at a golfing holiday. Best pals golfing holiday. So don't worry about it. We might even do a live podcast while we're there. There you go. Oh, we could do a podcast while we're there. It'd be a golf one. Take on Rick Shields.
We'll take that.
Coming for you, Rick.
Take down Rick. Yeah, exactly. Rick Shields. Our podcast is better, so that's fine.
We should do a YouTube channel. We should quit our jobs. And just do around the world YouTube channel, just same things that he does.
That's all we need to do, right? Just we already got a leg up on it because we can hit the ball further. So it's fine. Yeah, fine. We don't have to train for
you
it.
Can, mate. I don't know if I can.
Fine.
I don't know if I can. But yeah, we can do a blend. You could do like a training and like nutrition golf. And golf. Like, oh, there you go, mate. You heard it here first, guys. If you want that, just drop us a message. We'll get it started. I'll move back to England for that. So there we go. We're not changing it.
But Rick. They're doing a live podcast. What is one of the nights, considering the demographic, what is one of the nights you probably wouldn't do a live podcast on? Champions League final.
Saturday night.
Yeah. Champions League final, Saturday night. Don't do your live podcast, which is mainly golfing, kind of probably football orientated males on that day. That's happening. You might sell out, but you're probably not going to get the numbers that you want. Whoever booked it in the calendar is getting fired. Anyway, we just going straight into this then? I mean, I have got some protein things because I didn't try the My Vegan thing from a while ago.
Okay, well, I think we should start with that. That's what everyone wants.
Everyone
wants to hear you chewing. Everyone wants to hear you chomping on things.
I have protein crisps in the snack tray, and then I've got this. It's a layered Easter egg.
Right.
It's not Easter.
No. That's not a flavor, is it? That's not a flavor. Like, okay, how is a protein bar Easter egg? Is it shaped like an egg, Tom? No, it's not. Is it in a wrapper? Not. Yes, it is. It's a protein bar. You can't call it Easter egg. Like, come on. At least go with something like mini eggs or something like. I can't be dealing with this.
So I haven't actually had these two. I have had the crisps, so don't need to try that. I just tell you what they are. So the My Protein crisps, 100 calories, 11 grams of protein, barbecue flavor.
Such a shill now for My Protein, you are.
Well, it's just because I get given loads of fucking shit. Like I'm absolutely fine with it. I get given lots of stuff, and I don't have to pay, but I do have to work. So I've never, as you've seen, I've never done those weird posts that go, "Oh, stash new in, thanks My Protein." And it's like, all right, yeah, let's exchange for my time. Or expertise somehow. If anybody's listening, I think me and Luke are doing things in Liverpool for something.
Well, that sounds convincing.
Fits something. I got tagged in the other day. Luke was like, "Oh,
Tom and Luke are doing something somewhere in the UK at some point in the future. So keep your eyes peeled for that."
Eyes peeled. Where is it? I feel like Luke posted something like that. Anyway, I'll find it by the end of the show. If there's a Liverpool like fitnessy, body powery kind of expo thing, apparently I'm there. We're doing something. We've got like a stand that because Luke was like, oh, what do you want to do? And I looked at what's there, and it is so bodybuilding and powerlifting-ish. And I'm like, it's not really us, Luke, anymore, unfortunately. I'm like, it's probably not a demographic. So I was like, can I do something like good? So I'm going to do, if anybody wants to do that, I'm going to do a load of velocity-based training, like methodology and like protocols. So if anybody wants me to profile them for VBT, I'll be doing that. And then we're getting some students to like teach some classes and stuff like that. So yeah, I'll be like, yeah, I want to do something more fun, more practical based and whatever. It's not just talks. It's just like, yeah, but there seems to be like powerlifting and bodybuilding events going on around us. So I was like, it's going to be loud. I was like, so I don't want to talk. That seems a bit mad. I think all the likely suspects are there. Amelia and all that lot. Oh, classic. Yeah, I was just like, do I really have to go to Liverpool? I was like, I thought it was a day. It's 3 days. I'm not staying for 3 days. No. If you're there on a Sunday,
long to spend at any sort of convention like that.
If you're there on a Sunday, I won't be there. I'll be heading home on the Saturday night. No chance. Yeah, London, not Liverpool. All right. I'll try the vegan thing. Oh yeah, my verdict on the crisps are they're not as good as real crisps. Okay. Shockingly, they're really kind of like weak and stale kind of crisp. So
yeah, I know exactly this kind of texture and taste.
Yeah, it's like not fantastic. Good. It's not great. They look like the pop chips. They're going for the pop chip vibe, but they're just buy some pop chips. They're probably they're the same calories, aren't they? Pop chips like 90, 97, something like that. I think for a pop chip bag.
No, pop chips are a bit more than that, aren't they?
Are they? Nah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try this. My vegan protein wafer.
Oh no.
Yeah, good.
Good, isn't it? Yeah. It'd be like the wafer ones we had before, you know, like those ones, the ones you have in Protein Pick and Mix.
It's better than the.
Oh, is it?
Well, I thought you meant like my protein wafer, the actual wafers that I have.
No, I meant like the one with the cream. Remember that one that had the cream in the middle? Oh, I can't remember. A bit more decadent.
Yeah, the Wonnabar.
Wonnabar, that's the one.
Wonnabar, they were
that's the one.
Yeah,
that's the one.
Really, yeah, nice. Yeah, that's all right. Bit earthy. But
it's vegan, isn't it?
It's the vegan one, yeah, unfortunately. Yeah. But rate it 7, 8 out of 10. I like protein wafers. They tend to be more up my street. I don't know why. Crunch, texture in it. All about
texture in it, yeah. Bit of texture.
This is pitiful. Like, I'm sorry. Look at the amount of Easter egg that's on that.
It's not. It's not Easter egg, is it?
No, they're trying to put crushed up like mini eggs, right?
It's just chocolate. It's just chocolate. It's not Easter egg. It's gonna be shit.
It tastes like a normal
protein
bar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Like,
so
you just can't define that flavor. What flavor is this, Dan? Easter egg? No. No one's gonna say that in taste testing, are they? No one.
No, it's very strange. I was hoping loaded with like mini eggs on top of it, and they're just really not. Oh, that's poor.
No,
they're not good. The wafer thing way better. I'd have that with some ice cream. Lovely.
There you go.
All right. So yeah, this is just so Dan's had 2 things that he wants to moan about online, right? So it's a double stupid things on the internet. Yeah, sorry, people did ask some questions, but we'll do them next week.
So quickly we go through these.
But yeah, that's fine. What would you do?
Yeah, it just annoyed me. Just Darren Cartel doing a video, and he put at the start of the video. I don't know if you guys can hear this. Let me see if you can hear it. Here we go. One of the best ways to grow the booty bands, right, and I genuinely thought that was going to be a spoof video when I started watching it. Only it wasn't a spoof video. He then proceeded to defend himself in the comments when someone quite rightly commented, "Yeah, but booty bands aren't the best way to grow your glutes, are they?" And he says who? I was like, well, says science.
Yeah.
So should we talk about that a little bit? And like, my big issue with him is he's all about science and like, you know, he dispels myths and he's big on, and the reason I want to talk about it, right, as well, and the reason I posted it on my story, because he is the first person to shit on someone who puts out bad information. So I feel like it's only right that he should have his stuff put up and look the same. Anyway, someone put, booty bands aren't great for growing glutes though, and he says who? And the person put, it's very little resistance and hard to apply progressive overload. And also, she forgot to mention, does not take anyone through a full range of motion. And then he replied and basically said, oh yeah, for you compete in bodybuilding, but for the majority of my audience and people on planet Earth that don't train like you, it's a great way to develop their glutes. This video isn't for you. And she replied the same way that we would reply, which is, no, not just for me, for anyone. Like for anyone. Like this is again another thing of like people just jumping on, well, because it burns, it must work. If you put a booty band around your knees and you squat or you do crab walks or whatever, please know that the band is doing nothing. You might feel it a little bit more, it might burn a little bit, but it's the fact you're taking your glutes through a full range of motion with added resistance and load, whether that is your body weight or whether that is a bar or whether that's a dumbbell, that causes your glutes to grow and get stronger. A band is not doing anything for you in that situation. And it's just really frustrating for me when I see that, because like I said, he'd been the first person to jump on someone and he's tried to wriggle out of it and be like, yeah, for my audience. And I'm like, no, even for your audience. Like, and in the video, he does go on to do bodyweight glute bridges, single leg glute bridges, sideline hip abduction, which again are good exercise. Like I'm not going to have a go at that. Like they are good movements that will take those muscles through a bigger range of motion. But he then does donkey kicks, for example, which does take the glute for a full range of motion, but again, is nowhere near enough resistance to do anything for anyone. No. And he kind of like went through the whole thing of was like, do these high volume, you'll feel the burn. And it's like, I'm going to stop you right there. Like the burn isn't necessarily going to cause any change. And this is the big problem we have in fitness, is that people just chase these little things. Like who doesn't want to do banded crab walks versus doing 100 kilo back squats? Well, everyone would rather do that. It's easier, loads less effort, loads less time. And that's the point, is that that's why that stuff sells, because people think, oh, if I do that, it burns a bit on my glutes. Oh, I must be working. No, it's really not doing that much. And it just annoyed me. It just annoyed me because, like I said, he'd be the first person to shit on someone else for having bad information. And he literally tried to come back and he kept trying to defend himself and was saying like, and then he put it on this comment. Did you hear me say it's the best way to grow glutes or the best way? No. And he basically was saying how he didn't even say it was the best way to grow. And I was like, no, you literally said it's the best. We all know it's the best way.
One of the other lads was like, bro, heard you say it. That's how you opened the video.
Yeah, it's like, bro, that's literally what you said when you opened the video. And like, yeah, and then he put, along with other lifts, the bands are, yes, a great way to grow glutes. I'm like, no, they're not. Like, they're not. The other lifts are. Anyway, yeah, and it just annoyed me. It just annoyed me.
Because, yeah, I mean, it's just... They're supplementary to the lift, right? And people would add them to a lift. You see Brett Contreras go, actually, what's really happening? I'm going to say I'm slightly qualified to talk about this with the master's degree in biomechanics, but what's happening is the band is just an external cue. That's what it's doing, right? It's an external cue for external rotation. And so you can drive your hip out, and that's what he's trying to achieve. And that's what he's feeling the burn on. It's just because most of the population, this is what he should have said, most of the population are not body aware enough to drive external rotation. So this aid will give them that. Therefore, they'll feel their glute more because of sleepy glute syndrome that physiotherapist seems to think everybody has. And it's like, you know what, in the athletic population, that we use these booty bands and mini bands for is, and Dan knows this because he was a king of it when he first started PTing, was warming up. You use them for little, like you used to do shit tons of like little it'd be like through about 3 different ranges of motion where you go off to the side, you go abduction, 45-degree abduction, and then extension whilst leaning back with like a standing donkey kick kind of thing. You used to love all that shit. And then you go through like little crab walks and all this kind of stuff. And I do them every now and again, but only when it's necessary, because I'm like, oh, this person just needs to feel it. And then they kind of a bit more switched on. They become more body aware. So that's what it's about. And it's not a good way to build glutes. It's just not.
And also someone who after they get to a certain point with that, they don't feel it that much anymore because they're like, okay, cool, I know what to do with this. Like, 4 weeks into doing that, they're like, okay, I get it. I understand how to feel my glutes now. And it's like, yeah, then it's always combined with doing heavier movements. And I think now as well, even now, if I was to go back to doing one-to-one PT now, I wouldn't get many people doing it at all. They'd be doing single leg hip thrusts, and I'd be like, all right, let's start here straight away. Like, I don't even need to worry about doing bands anymore. Like, again, you learn, you evolve, and all that sort of stuff. So even now, I don't think I would. I think in football, again, it was a big thing. It was like, get the footballers to feel their glutes, and like, yeah, they're fucking weak, so they probably would feel it a little bit. But even then, you know, I was like, no, you better off doing back squats, front squats, like, but they didn't want to do it because they're pussies. So it's what it is. You know, you fight your battles in football. But I think it's just one of those things where I just think it, again, like, it just annoyed me because he'd be the first person to shit on someone for posting this sort of stuff, you know. And then you see him doing like donkey kicks and just bodyweight crab walks. I'm like, mate, what are you doing? Like, I don't care who your audience is. I don't care.
Bodyweight crab walk. What is that? I mean, like, that's bad.
It's just yeah. It's nothing. Is it? It's nothing.
Like, without the band, it's literally nothing. Without the band,
yeah. And it's just like, okay, so you need to upskill then in certain areas, mate, because again, like I said, it's all well and good taking the piss out of other people, which again is fine. Just make sure your own house is in order. Like, and for me, it was just a bit of a light bulb moment. I was like, hang on a minute, yeah, this guy's not maybe as smart as you think he is. With that. I mean, and then of course we had.
Well, I have watched some because he obviously Darren's doing like a little series of like, oh, it's just a dumb. Like, he basically picks any machine-based exercise and then goes, here's the dumbbell variations and stuff like that. So, and some of them have been okay, but some of them have been like, I guess mechanically, I would differ to him on a load of things. It's like, all right, really, are we going to do that because that's not available, or some of the choices don't fit him, and we talk about a spectrum of exercise which a good coach should know, and like where they start from beginner and then intermediate, but he's just kind of like a mishmash of stuff. He hasn't done it in order, which is really kind of just no.
Yeah, he probably doesn't know enough to do them in order, to be fair. Like, you know, I wouldn't.
But clearly, naturally, I would. I'd be like, all right, this one comes first because they're going to think that's first and that's second. That's I'm gonna be like,
what comes naturally to you, Tom, does not come naturally to other people because you're a good trainer. So don't like.
Doubtful.
That's the thing.
Doubtful. Yeah. First time I trained properly today, I put on my stories. I was like, for a while.
He's back.
I was just you know what? It was a weird day as well because I had like 2 hours. Like, it's one of those like actual gaps that I could actually train. So I was like, yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna do my deadlifting things. Yeah.
Right, and we've got another one. We have one of our favorites. He's back on the stories here. Mr. Liver King. I couldn't help but go start my stories. It was fucking brilliant. He basically is posted a reel of him with his wife having a day date. And he's obviously got his platter of organs and crap, whatever it is. And I swear to God, this poor woman is being held hostage. She is, 100%. And I just put the caption under my story was, tell me your husband's forcing you to eat raw food for social media posts without telling me, because her face as she eats this raw bone marrow is an absolute picture. Like, there's no point me playing the video because you can't see what you need to see. But if you go onto Liver King, let me find his post and let me get.
It's the latest reel he did.
It's the latest reel, but yeah, it might. By the time people watch this, it may have gone. But it'll be this reel where again you can see it. He's sat with his wife right on the picture, and she basically eats this bone marrow, and she is trying really hard not to wince. But her left eye twitches, and it gives it away so much that she's just really kind of like, she wants to do something, and her eye just goes like that, as if she really hates it, and it's painful to watch. Like, she's just sitting there smiling at him. She's obviously not comfortable on camera. And like,
I don't think it's the comfortable on camera. He's listing off all the stuff what it is, right? And her face is just like, why the hell am I here?
Yeah. What is and I've seen videos of him with his kids before as well, and they don't enjoy it. But again, I can kind of understand that the kids don't know any better. You know, they're just being told to eat it. But her face on this when she's a bone marrow, she's just like, oh God, here we go. And then it's through gritted teeth, and then the left eye twitch just gets me every time. She puts it down straight away. Oh my God, go watch it and tell me that that's not a hostage situation right there.
I mean, it's also product placement as well. There's some good product placement halfway through.
Yeah, I saw a funny video the other day about, it was saying how Liver King is not a person, it's a marketing department. Like, they were saying how it's just marketing. Like, it's not anything other than that. And it is just this way of looking at things. And they've kind of created a problem out of nowhere with the marketing about how we should go back to ancestral living and all this sort of stuff. Like, I saw a video of his the other day, and he was talking about how his kids had really bad asthma, eczema, all these things, and they blamed it on the way the world is with their food. All of a sudden they started eating raw food, and within a day it cleared up. And I'm like, well, at least make it believable. At least make it believable and say within a month, at least. No one is getting cured of all that in a day. Like, it's just stupid. And he was saying, he just went on and on about all this shit. And you just know that it's someone being paid a fuck ton of money to be the front of a marketing department. Again, the way he looks, the way he is, like, it's obvious, right? And I just think it's one of those things where people need to wise up and go, right, what problem do we need to create? So the marketing department have gone, right, well, people can't eat like they used to eat in the old days. They need to eat raw food. We'll tell them they need to eat raw food. We'll tell them that packaged food is bad for them, all this sort of stuff, right? So let's put this guy in front of everyone and tell him it's great, and we'll sell supplements off the back of it and all this sort of shit. Like, that's the thing I find really bonkers about it all is, you talk about eating raw food and how great it is, but then they sell a line of supplements that are ancestral supplements. I'm like, no, ancestral supplements doesn't make any sense because you didn't have them when you were, when they didn't exist. And people need to wise up to this and go, hang on a minute. Like, this is just marketing. This is just, I'm being marketed to by what looks like a person, but Liver King is not a person. It's a company. It's a marketing department. It's a sales department. It's people that have created a problem and then they've provided a solution. And a lot of marketing is just that. It's about highlighting the problems someone has, whether they think they have it or not. If you tell them enough, they'll believe it. And Liver King's a prime example of that, right? And that Carnivore MD is the same. Have you seen him before? Carnivore MD. He's the one that's like, kale is bullshit. He's like, kale's bullshit. Like, vegetables are bullshit. You shouldn't be eating vegetables and all this sort of stuff. And again, there's a common theme here is that it's sensationalist, but also is that they provide the solution to it. So, like, if this guy genuinely believed that raw organs were the best thing ever, right? He should say, go and get it from your local butcher, go do all this sort of stuff. But the fact is, he's selling supplements that fill the gaps that he's trying to claim, and it's that whole thing of, okay, so they're highlighting a pretend problem, and they're selling you the solution. So you go on his thing, right? And again, it's like he's got an ebook, you download it, blah, 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 all that sort of stuff, right? As all these things kind of work that way. A guide for the modern day primal, right? Oh, fucking shit. And then you go on it and it's like, okay, cool. So now we're starting looking at, okay, so he just sells supplements to people effectively because he doesn't care if people eat meat or not and whether it's raw or not, but he's selling them the dream of the supplements. That's what he's selling. It's just embarrassing. Like that. Here we go. My kids
were really fucking sick. This was about 13 years ago. My kids were taking hospital rides, ambulance rides to the hospital because they couldn't fucking breathe because they were having anaphylactic shock. They were having these severe allergic reactions. And so out of medical necessity, we had to figure this shit out because every doctor had the same solution. It was more Benadryl, more EpiPen, more bullshit, right? And so enough is a fucking enough. Like, how long are you going to take that shit? And so I learned about this whole ancestral living thing, right? I mean, because everybody hears these fad diets that come up, right? This is the original diet of our species, right? And so the whole concept of ancestral living, this is not like an Atkins fad diet, right? This is the way that we evolved since the beginning of time. And so I said, let's try this. And within a couple of days, they made a 180. I said, oh my God.
I mean, he kind of shot himself in the foot there as well. How he was like, this is the ancestral. This is how we've evolved. Yeah, we've evolved from.
Yeah, evolved from that. Doing that. So like let's go this. So he said a couple of days. He then went on to say, 5 to 7 days.
About 5 to 7 days, a 180.
But it's a couple of days first. So what is it? Like unbelievable. Like, and I just think it's, whether that's true or not, again, it's just this whole thing of like, it's so sensationalist to do this whole 180 of like your whole way of living your whole life and that sort of stuff. And it's just a bit like, and I get people and say, look, this is a great example of like the way the world is at the moment. And like extremes sell, like extreme shit sells. And for every one person it works for and they see a benefit, there'll be 100,000 people that feel like crap off doing it and won't do it. And it's like, why would you eat raw liver? Why the fuck would you eat raw liver when you can eat ice cream? Why the fuck would you do that? Like, and I get that I get that's the point. I get that that's the marketing angle, right? but you don't have to eat raw liver. Like there's somewhere in between those two things, right? Because that's what they'll say is like, the modern day food, and they'll talk about liver, and it's like, okay, well, why don't you eat chicken and potato and broccoli? Like that's somewhere in the middle. Like that's okay. Cook it and add some ketchup if you want. Like I just find it really odd. And I think it appeals to a very certain type of person. And I think the reason that he's become so successful in this day and age right now is because people are more drawn to sensationalism, because there's more people that believe that there's this big person, big pharma, big government out to get you, and that they control everything and they're going to kill you. And I think if he'd have done this 10 years ago, no way near as successful as it would have been right this second. I think with everything going on in the world, it's just been timed perfectly. And I think the marketing department deserve a big pat on the back because they made themselves a lot of money and a lot of people have fallen for it. And like, I don't know.
I flicked through the Carnivore MD 2.0. That's what it is. And I like the he's crazy. He's like, do not eat these vegetables are these these vegetables are not good for you at all. Like spinach, apparently really, really bad for you. Will give you I think it was a kidney disease or something like that. Yeah. So apparently spinach gives you
because that's disease. What we need to worry about. That's what we need to worry about. People eat too much spinach. Yeah,
spinach. Beans, because like they apparently disturb everything to do with your gut, and then they will give you Alzheimer's. And then kale will disrupt your thyroid. So it's full of iodine. And then what we got? Beets, apparently. It has a non-protein amino acid. All right. And it will lead to multiple sclerosis. Of course it does. And then celery was good for you, but it's full of, I don't know, midichlorians. I don't know. It causes photo damage. Is that skin damage? I don't know. Yeah, I think it might have mate, so you heard it here first. All those red kidney beans, kale, spinach, beets, and I thought beets were meant to be really good. I remember one of my clients coming in and was like, I've had my beet juice or beetroot juice, that kind of thing. And I'm like, I'm going to be great and all that kind of stuff.
Nitrate.
Do that. I remember the first time I had that, I got given a free shot of it. And then my then girlfriend at the time, we went to like a dance class together. And then I had to run off to go to the toilet. And I started peeing pure red, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I was like, shit, I'm dying.
Scary if you don't know what it is. Yeah.
I was so scared because I couldn't remember. I was just like on the cuff, like I'd been given a free beetroot shot by like a rep that was in the gym that day. And I was like, all right, I necked it. And I was like, that's awful. And then later that day, I started peeing red. And I was like, shit. And then obviously being the smart man I was, I necked about a liter of water just to make myself flush it out. And I was like, oh, that's fine. Thank God for that. I had a slight panic of like thinking I was dying over. One of the worst things. But generally, I think beets are all right, apart from occasional thinking they'll die, apparently. But yeah, this guy's crazy. Why, Daniel, do all carnivore-based people always have to do all their videos with their top off?
I have no idea. To prove that they're somehow lean, I just don't have a clue.
Yeah, I don't know. Very strange.
Yeah. Honestly, it just baffles me. Actually baffles me. That people, I just don't get. I get it. Look, I get like the whole Liver King story. Again, if you've got if you're someone who suffers really badly from those sorts of illnesses and you try this diet and all of a sudden it helps, you're going to think it's the best thing since sliced bread. But at the same time, there could have been one thing you were eating that set you off that you just didn't know about. Because you've eliminated everything, you'll never know which one it was. And it could be something that's really simple and straightforward, just that you can't reintroduce it. You introduce it slowly. You go back to, again, eating more single ingredient whole foods, and you can work it out a little bit. Because that does happen with people. Again, very, very rare cases, but it does. And it's just that I get it. I get like if you have that extreme reaction, you find this thing that's cured you, and great. I just don't understand why people are going to that extreme. I don't get why cooking. Cool. I don't get why cooking it is going to make any difference in a negative way, in any way, shape, or form. If they just said, but then they can't do that because that's just keto, isn't it? It's just meat. That's just meat. at least this carnivore guy's not fucking saying it has to be raw. At least he's cooking half of it. But again, some of the stuff he does is raw as well, to be fair. But I just bang my head against the wall sometimes because you've got people out there. But when you've got case studies, because it's the same thing, right? You've got the professor that ate nothing but Twinkies and lost weight. You've got the guy who ate nothing but McDonald's and lost weight and improved his blood markers and improved his health markers because he was on a calorie-controlled McDonald's diet. The guy who ate Twinkies, like I said, his health markers improved as well. His blood markers of triglycerides, fatty acids improved because he was in a calorie deficit and lost body fat. We know that being in a calorie deficit and losing body fat is a great way to improve all those things, but that's never going to make the news, is it? Because you wouldn't be able to only eat a few Twinkies because you would just get hungry and you want to eat loads more of them, and it wouldn't. So I'm convinced that these diets work because no one wants to eat fucking loads of that food. I wouldn't want to eat all that raw liver. Of course you're going to lose weight. Of course you need to fucking be on steroids and look like he does and lift weights, because without it, no one's eating that amount of food, raw meat. Probably wouldn't be able to. You'd throw your fucking guts up. Just like, it's so easy, isn't it? It's just, if anything, it's easier to do that because you're just someone who doesn't eat normal food. So you wouldn't get invited to many parties. You'd have no social life.
Imagine
you just eat all that shit food.
Absolutely awful. Or his stools must be pretty horrific.
But you know what? If he's happy, he is happy because he's a fucking millionaire. But yeah, if he's happy doing that, ripping people off, then fair play to him. But that just winds me up, as you can tell.
Oh dear. Oh well. Right, there was just a bit of a ranty episode, I think, but we're nice, short and sharp rant. Lovely. It's one of those weeks. Of those weeks. So yeah, Darren, like, I like your piss take stuff, but just wheel it in. Just like I don't really talk about nutrition on my stuff, just because I end up saying something silly. Point proven. Stay in your lane, or go out and learn. Then you can be in that lane. Unfortunately,
if you don't even know that glutes are grown for a full range of motion and not for adding a band, then you need fucking a lot of help.
Right. Unfortunately. Oh well. Any other business, Daniel?
Not from me. Have a good week, everyone.
Not from me. Obviously PT Collective podcast came out the other day. I think myself and young Joe did it together. And we talked about social proofing, Daniel, something I'm sure you talk about on your mentorship. We were discussing all the different avenues away from what Dan does. It was basically, we'd had a few people, obviously, it was like, because it's similar to me, right? So transformations are not the thing that I go after and not the clientele I tend to do with. I've got some and it's like, fine, but I tend to want to work with people who are more performance-based. They're probably a little bit in shape already, or they want to get into that kind of shape. So the transformation isn't as shock and awing, but how you can portray what you do if you're not a transformation coach, which tends to be more Dan's angle, but not. He's got one. What was it? One string bow. You've got more bows to your guitar. Bows to your guitar. Bows to your strings. I don't know. You know the phrase. I'm really tired. Yeah.
It shows, mate. It shows.
I've been up since like 5:30. It's like it's not good. Anyway, go listen to that. Obviously, give us a like. Give us a share. Give us a rating. I still think we're sitting just on that 150. Shame. Want that. And the haters. I'm sure you posted about the haters the other day. We'll find them.
Yeah, we'll find them.
All right, guys. We'll answer any of the questions that I was meant to have on my Instagram next week, more than likely.
Sweet.
But yeah, sure. If I remember, that'll be the case. We'll write it down. All right. Thanks for listening, guys, and we will catch you next week.
See you later.